Hey, what's going on? Luke here. It's nearly grand final time in the 2023 NRL season. The prelims are here. We have two fantastic games. Two games that I think, look, to be honest with you, I'm doing tips and predictions. I think it's pretty straightforward. You can kind of tell who's the favourites for a reason. I mean, all you got to do is look at the bookies, look at the odds, and also just look at the form throughout the year. You can kind of figure out who's probably going to win, but obviously I would love to see a team like the Warriors make the grand final, but we'll get to that game in a second. But obviously we have two fantastic games. The first one being the Panthers up against the Storm, which in previous years they've obviously played prelims as well, so seems pretty fitting that they play again, not only in grand finals but in prelims. It's just they always seem to take on each other in important games, and obviously this is a very important game, grand final qualifier. Then we have two sort of ones at the start of the season you probably wouldn't have expected, especially the Warriors, but they travel to Brisbane, they take on the Brisbane Broncos. Look, I think it's going to be two very, very good games. I feel like the final series, I'm not going to lie, it's been a little lackluster in terms of the actual quality of games, but the Warriors were absolutely fantastic last week. The Broncos were great against the Storm, Penrith. Storm kind of been a little bit iffy. Obviously, the whole Pappenhausen injury has kind of threw a little spanner in the works, but probably out of all four sides, Storm are probably the luckiest to be there, in my opinion. And obviously, they've got a tough ask to take on the Penrith Panthers. Now, at the time of recording, probably by the time the video is out, I'm not sure if the team list will be up, but then we can kind of figure out what the team lists are probably going to be. Probably not too different to what they were last week, maybe a few ins here and there, but for the most part I think we're going to see some pretty full strength sides. Maybe for say like Penrith, a lot of talk about Jerome Luai, maybe he might be back, but regardless between him and Jack Cogger, I don't think too much will change in terms of this game, maybe the grand final, but I think Jerome Luai being rushed back in is not going to play too much better than what Jack Cogger is anyway, so I probably would just stick with Jack Cogger. I think Targo as well might be an inclusion as well. For the Storm, Jerome Hughes, it kind of all revolves around Jerome Hughes, whether he'll play or not. Wishart I actually thought was quite decent last week, but obviously it's a big difference from Jerome Hughes to Wishart, and obviously they got away with it, literally like a Hail Mary kick crossfield. Didn't go for the field goal, not really sure what was to go there. Didn't try and even things up, but Will the Brick Warbrick ends up getting a nice little try in the corner, jumping above, I can't remember his name, but the Roosters winger, one of the youngsters. And obviously they picked up victory, but it was a pretty bad game in my opinion. It was a tough game. Obviously Roosters, they were there, they were ready to play. Obviously it wasn't the best performance from either sides, but it was a tough game, and I think going into this one, I think Penrith would have really enjoyed the week off. Obviously, the talk about Jerome Luai and Targo coming back in, another week for them to recover. But at the same time, the Storm have been getting bashed. They got smacked by the Broncos. Then they had a tough game against the Roosters, and now they sort of limp into a game against Penrith, and that's not what you want to be doing, taking on the Penrith Panthers. You need to be at literally playing a 10 out of 10 game, and the Storm have not played a 10 out of 10 game in quite some time. So for that reason, I think, realistically, I'm not going to lie. Looking at Broncos and Warriors too, if they had taken on the Panthers in this round this week, I think Panthers smack all of those sides, to be honest with you. I think they're just levels. I think the other two, the Broncos and the Warriors, I think that's going to be quite a competitive game. I think even this game will be quite competitive, but I just think Penrith are just that next step up, maybe even a couple steps up above the rest of them. They've got the finals experience. Even when they haven't performed well in finals in previous years, they still got the job done and ended up winning the premiership. So yeah, look, I'm expecting a big game from the Penrith Panthers. I'm expecting them to win, and I'm expecting them to win well. 13 plus for me. I think Storm, they did a fantastic job getting to where they are. I thought, it's another year of the Storm are going to drop off, and then they find themselves in the prelims yet again, even, despite losing, most of their forward pack, and, Pappenhausen hasn't played for most of the season and all that sort of stuff, seem to just find a way. But yeah, 13 plus, Penrith Panthers, good luck beating them. And speaking of good luck beating them, we have the Broncos and the Warriors. Good luck to both these sides. I'm firmly on the Warriors bandwagon up the waz. I think everybody who's sort of in neutral is probably jumping on the Warriors bandwagon. Probably between them and the Knights, whoever won that one, we would have jumped on that bandwagon, but they put the sword in very, very early on to the poor Knights. They just never really stood a chance, did they, in front of that home crowd? The problem is the home crowd. The home crowd really, inspires them, but when they've got to go to Suncorp and take on the Broncos in front of their home crowd, I'm not sure it's going to go that way. I really don't. If it was a neutral game, if it was Rugby League Live 4 or something, where you wouldn't take into account, any sort of home crowd advantage or anything like that, I'd probably say these are quite evenly matched. But are they really though? Now that I think about it, the Broncos, they are quite stacked. They are a very stacked side. The 4-pack stacked. The backs are absolutely unreal. I mean, it looked like the centre battle. You have Katoni Staggs and Herbie Farnworth up against Rocco Berry and Adam Pompey. Two guys going into the season, you probably wouldn't even had them sort of, penciled in as guaranteed starters. But look, the Broncos, they are stacked from sort of 1 to 17. And I think if there's any side that can really give Penrith a shake, it would be them. And I think for that reason, they're going to beat the Warriors. I think it'll be a close one. I think the Warriors will push him. I think Sean Johnson's been absolutely fantastic. Everybody's kind of stepped up. It's kind of funny. I remember at the start of the season, I think there was a quote from Dylan Walker talking about how he wants to come to the Warriors and win a premiership and all that sort of stuff. And I thought, absolutely no way. He's insane. You're not going to go to the Warriors and do that. And here they are playing in a prelim. They've got Roger Tuivasa-Sheck coming next year. Things are looking good for the Warriors. Probably the best it's ever looked in their whole tenure as a club, to be honest with you. So, up the Wilds, good luck. I hope they get the job done. My prediction is I don't think they will get the job done. It is what it is. But, all these sides get into the prelims, no shame in that. And the Broncos have been kind of the standard for most of the season. They let it slip at the end with the minor premiership, but Broncos have been absolutely fantastic, and I think it is going to be a Broncos and Panthers grand final. But I mean, look, if there's going to be some upsets, I feel like the Storm can do it, obviously, and I think the Warriors can do it as well. So, would not shock me if either of those sides get an upset. But I think the odds are what they are for a reason. They're heavy favourites, and I think I just don't see it going any other way than Panthers winning 13+, and Broncos, I'm going to go 1 to 12. But I mean, how the prelims sort of go, either it's incredibly close or the team gets blown out. It's kind of not just an iffy game where it's they just win by 10 points. It's either it's 2 points or they win by bloody 30. That's what it feels like for prelims. So, I don't know. I'm going to go Broncos, like I said. But let me know in the comment section below, what are your thoughts on these games? What are your tips and predictions? Do you think mine are right? I think it's pretty straightforward, to be honest with you. Like I said, I've just gone for the favourites, and the favourites for a reason. When you get this far into the season, you kind of have a gauge on who the good teams are and who are the pretenders. And obviously, these teams aren't pretenders, but maybe the Storm a little bit. But it's just the Broncos and Panthers. They've just been so good all season, and just the home crowd for the Broncos is kind of what's swaying me for the Broncos. But yeah, let me know in the comment section below. What are your thoughts? What are your tips? And look, if you happen to enjoy this video, you got this far into the video, make sure you go ahead and leave a like on it. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here as well. The more likes, the better, the more subscribers. Haven't been uploading as of late because I've been incredibly sick, but as you can tell, feeling a lot better. So should be uploading a little bit more, especially with the prelims on the grand final. I'm pumping out those videos. And I'm not just saying it and then not doing it, because I actually do feel good. I'm not trying to pretend that I feel better. So I actually do feel good at the moment. So we're pumping out the videos. So yeah, like and subscribe. Shout out to the members. You're seeing them on the screen right now. Thanks for sticking with me. I think I kind of said this last week, but thank you for sticking with me and sticking by me despite me not uploading that much and me being sick. And even when I could stream to super chatters as well, I think Techno was one of them. Thank you for sticking by and supporting the channel regardless of how I've been and whether I've been uploading or not. So thank you so much. Also, social media, it's on the screen right now. Seeing it's Mr. Luke and YT. Give me a follow, give me an ad. And that's all I really got to say about this one. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Thank you for watching, guys. And look, I'll see you in the next one. See yous.